Good evening. I've known Brenda Andrews for over 25 years. Don't try to think about the age. She is a true friend, a mother and grandmother, and a person who makes great sacrifices in keeping the 112-year-old New Journal and Guide press rolling to tell the story and keep the faces of African Americans in the minds of people. She works hard to keep that story told because we know that other places may talk about our story, but they have different perspectives and views.
That's true.
But the Journal and Guide gives it to us straight, and we get the truth about the African American community. Now, the word no is not in her vocabulary. She says yes to God first and foremost, yes to family and friends, yes to commitment in getting out a newspaper week by week, regardless of all the obstacles that come her way. Yes to dedication, perseverance, and determination. She is a devoted businesswoman. I guess you could say she's an entrepreneur. And she has great strength, dignity, and integrity in conducting business and making it possible for people in Hampton Roads and throughout the nation to hear the voices of the American people. Now, she is a proud woman, and she has a kind and loving spirit, and she has devoted her life to march with her baton high. And when she's marching, you can hear her saying, "Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around." She marches with that banner and with that baton in her hand for humanity and for justice. It is my pleasure to present to you my sister friend, Ms. Brenda Andrews, publisher of the New Journal and Guide.
We'll be celebrating 30 years this year here at the New Journal and Guide. And certainly in 1982, when I arrived on the scene, my expectation was not 30 years down the road and owning the New Journal and Guide. A couple of years ago, I caught the poetry bug, for lack of another way of phrasing it. And over a short period of time, I wrote several poems, which surprised me, I think, as much as anybody who knows me and knows that I've written poetry is surprised. But they're actually love poems. And over the past year, I published a book in 2010. It's called The Seasons of Love, Poetry by Belle. And I published some of the poetry as I was writing it in the Journal and Guide, but I didn't publish it under the name Brenda Andrews because I wanted to remain anonymous because they're quite personal poems. And so I published them under the name Belle, B-E-L-L-E, because I like that name. I like that name because it's a Southern name, and I'm a Southern person, proud of my Southern roots and my traditions. As a lady, Belle has, for me, the connotation of a person who has a little bit of spark in her, but at the same time, she's quite a lady who most people would look up to, and that's how I try to live my life, as a person of character, a person of integrity, and a person that can be trusted. At the same time, there's a part of me that enjoys fun, and that's the part that I think comes a little bit out in the book Poetry by Belle and the Seasons of Love. We're really good and excited and should be here in Norfolk to have the Journaling Guide as a part of our history. We are a part of what makes Norfolk great. You don't just survive, you don't just continue, you don't just exist, you don't just thrive and maintain a presence anywhere for 112 years unless there is support from the people who receive that information and people who appreciate and value who we are as a people. And so for me, being charged, being the steward for the past 30 years and owner for the past 20 years of this institution is a very responsible and serious position for me.
This production has been brought to you by Image Entertainment in partnership with New Journal and Guide. Subscribe today.